I have figured out what the Batman Part 2 is about. Well, at least, I think I did. The only thing confirmed right now is Sebastian Stan is in the film. But technically, it's not confirmed that he is actually Harvey Dent. That's just speculated by Deadline. And obviously, Deadline is the most reliable source out there. I'm going to choose to believe it and operate under that notion. But I mean, I guess it's entirely possible that he's not Harvey Dent. Same with Scarlet and Charles Dance. We don't know that they are for sure in the film, but they were reported by Deadline. But we don't know exactly who they'll be playing. So let's get into it. Okay, so I have had many theories since the first film came out. I am a big fan of the first film. I feel like me and Matt were on the same page with how we interpret this world, how we interpret Batman. But the only thing that I have differed with him is the interpretation of Bruce Wayne. Now, I do find it okay because seeing the type of journey he wants to tell for Bruce, for Batman, it does make sense, and therefore I'm down with it. But I do believe he needs to end up, or he does need to become the classic traditional Bruce Wayne. And I remember you could go back to all my videos about Batman, the Penguin, whatever it may be. I have constantly been theorizing about this, and I so far seem to be almost right. I have been saying that it's not an accident that the whole Bella Real thing was teased in the first film. How she's trying to work with Bruce, trying to better Gotham, trying to use him and his resources to get the Wayne estate, get the Wayne legacy back on track, because he's been neglecting Wayne Enterprises. He's been completely neglecting that side of his life, and he's been all Batman. And then that gets even more established later in the film when he sees the orphanage, the Wayne estate orphanage that's been completely abandoned once again. And then, of course, the reveals about his family and all that shook him to his core. So it's just so clear to me that the next film is going to portray Bruce as a persona, as a character, and exploring that. And then last year when Matt was promoting The Penguin, he was asked about it. And he's obviously didn't give anything away about villains, plot, nothing. The only thing he did say was that this film was going to be very focused on Bruce Wayne, which I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was reading the tea leaves correctly, you know? And again, I have said this before in one of my other videos way back in the day, but I had said a good way to portray this is Harvey Dent. A good way to explore this is with Harvey Dent as his friend, as his associate, and especially if they do comic accurate Two-Face, or if they do animated series Two-Face, how there's trauma and split personality already existing within him. It's not caused by the accident like in the Nolan films. He's already a deeply messed up person, and he had incredible childhood trauma from his father, who was an alcoholic and also really messed up in the head, and this made him have repression, and therefore his second personality was created. The Two-Face villain is the second personality taking over. So I feel like what this film would probably do is explore the relationship, explore Bruce Wayne becoming more social, becoming more of a leader in the society of Gotham, and trying to help Gotham, trying to do the things that Bruce Wayne usually does do in the comics. Batman and Bruce are both trying to help Gotham. It's not just Batman like in the first film. So I believe that'll be the overarching relationship. The overarching theme is Bruce Wayne coming into his own. Then, the main villain, which I'm being a little bit selfish here. I'm being a little bit fanboy here because this is a villain I really want to see, which is Mr. Freeze. So let me just say, personally, I don't believe Two-Face is main supervillain worthy. I believe he's a great villain. He's interesting, but to me, he's not worthy to be the main villain of a film. He's more like the Penguin in the first film, how he's a subplot getting developed. I feel like same thing will happen here, except it'll be very meaningful because it'll be a psychological, emotional journey for Bruce and for Harvey. And then at the end of the film, he'll probably become Two-Face because of Oz, because we already got it confirmed that the Penguin will be in this film. So I believe maybe since Maroni and Falcone are dead, probably Oz or something with his organization will cause the accident for Two-Face. So anyways, I believe the main villain will be Mr. Freeze. And in the animated series, I'm a big fan of the Heart of Ice episode, the way his accident happens, and I believe also they adapted that in the comics as well, that the way that the accident happens for him is that a company, another billionaire, screws him over and causes this traumatic accident, making him into like a cold-hearted monster. So I think it'll be very interesting is if instead of some other company, Wayne Enterprises is the one that screws him over when Bruce was neglecting his company and neglecting that whole side of his life. So it'll be not just a great villain tale, because Mr. Freeze is very empathetic and a tragic, monstrous hero almost sometimes. but it'll also be personal and emotional for Bruce as well, because Bruce will feel responsible. So Bruce will have a personal stake in trying to help Victor. And I feel like this entire film would just be a portrait of Bruce, of Batman, being sociable, being empathetic, being a true hero, and trying to help these two people. He's relating to Harvey, relating to them with his own childhood trauma, his own issues with his father. Of course, very different from Harvey's, but still, they could relate to each other on some level. And then also the supervillain tale of Mr. Freeze and him investigating about that and realizing that, oh my god, this was caused by Wayne Enterprises, by someone who was working here, someone on the board, someone in charge of some department, whatever it may be. But Bruce will feel responsible. And I just think all this could be just an incredible Batman tale, an incredibly epic, big story that may sound convoluted to you, but I mean, think about it. Just imagine if I was here trying to explain the plot of the first Batman film. It would sound like, dude, there's so much going on. There's so many characters. How are you going to do that? And I mean, Matt pulled it off, you know? And he has called this the epic Batman crime saga or something like that. So I feel like every film, yeah, should be this beefy, big portrait of Gotham, telling this tale with multiple villains and multiple famous Batman characters. And I just feel like this would be a great story. And I think it completely goes in line with everything Matt Reeves has said so far. And of course, the cherry on top of evidence to me is the first photo that Matt Reeves shared of shooting the film. And it's the Batmobile in the snow. And I just can't wait. I just really hope this is, well, obviously this is going to be winter in Gotham, but I just really hope it's because it's Mr. Freeze. I just really love him. I feel like him and Clayface are both very, I guess, underrated villains that are worthy of films. And obviously we're getting a Clayface film in the DCU, which is cool. But I'm very excited if hopefully we get a Mr. Freeze film with Batman, not isolated. So those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on my theories. I know it may sound like I'm just fanboy dreaming, but I mean, I feel like I'm coming from a very realistic place, not just like, this would be so cool. Also, let me know your theories. And yeah, thanks for watching.